It's late. The room is quiet, dark. Just you alone with your thoughts. No distractions, no excuses, no one to blame. And right there in that silence, the shadows start creeping in. You know exactly what these shadows are. They're your fears. They're your insecurities. They're your doubts, your mistakes, your regrets. These shadows whisper, you're not enough. You can't do this. You're weak. Quit now. In the dark, these voices feel real. They feel strong. They get louder, bigger, tougher. Every failure you've ever had feels magnified. Every doubt feels like truth. But here's the thing. Most people won't admit. You created these shadows. You feed them. You let them grow. You've spent your life running from them, ignoring them, pretending they aren't there. But every shadow ignored gets bigger. Every fear avoided comes back stronger. This isn't the world attacking you. It's you attacking yourself. Welcome to the fight nobody sees, nobody claps for. The battle within. It's always been you versus you. You spent years running from those shadows. You got good at distracting yourself, burying yourself in comfort, pretending you were fine. But avoidance makes shadows stronger. Every time you hid, every time you turned away, those shadows got bigger, louder, more relentless. Ignoring your fears doesn't make them go away. It feeds them. You thought you were protecting yourself by staying comfortable. You thought you were safe by avoiding pain, but comfort became your prison, and avoidance turned your fears into giants. It's time to stop running. It's time to turn around and face what scares you most, because you can't conquer what you won't confront, because you can't defeat shadows you refuse to acknowledge. Right now, in this moment, you have a choice. Keep running, keep hiding, keep losing, or turn around, face your shadows, and fight. This battle begins the moment you stop pretending, the moment you stop lying to yourself. Face your shadows, because today, the fight becomes real. The world is not your biggest problem. It's not your job. It's not your past. It's not the people who left you behind or the ones who never believed in you. It's you. You are your greatest opponent. The voice in your head that tells you to quit. The part of you that hit snooze when you said you'd start. The part that scrolls instead of works. The version of you that chooses comfort over growth. That's what's been holding you back. You've blamed everything else long enough. You've pointed fingers at circumstances, people, timing, anything but yourself. But none of those things kept you stuck like you did. You broke your own momentum. You ignored your own potential. You kept playing small when you knew you were capable of more. And now, it's time to face that version of you. The one who settles. The one who folds under pressure. The one who wastes time and calls it rest. That version of you has to go, because there's another version inside you. The one who's been quiet but ready. The one who's tired of losing, tired of being average, tired of watching other people live the life you want. That version doesn't care about comfort. It's not here for approval. It's here to win. And now that version is waking up. And it's ready for war. This is where the real fight begins. Not in front of a crowd. Not when the camera's on. It begins in silence. When no one is watching. And no one is coming to save you. It's just you standing face to face with the version of yourself that you're trying to leave behind. At first, it feels awkward. You don't have rhythm. You don't have confidence. You don't even know if you're doing it right. You try to wake up earlier, but you hit snooze. You try to train harder, but you quit halfway. You try to focus, but you get distracted. You swing, but you miss. But here's what matters. You showed up. You stepped into the fight. And that alone separates you from who you used to be. This isn't about perfection. It's about effort. It's about showing up and swinging, Even when the punches feel weak. Even when your mind tells you it's not worth it. Even when part of you still wants to quit. You're not trying to knock your shadow out in one round. You're just proving you're willing to fight. And the second you do that, the shift begins. Because most people stay outside the ring forever. Most people never take that first swing. But you did. And that's where the momentum starts. The battle isn't won in one big moment. It's won in the small ones. The ones no one sees. The ones that look like nothing, but add up to everything. It's won when you wake up and get out of bed instead of hitting snooze. When you walk into the gym, even when you're tired. When you stick to your plan, even when no one's checking. Those moments feel small, but they're not. They're punches. Every rep you push through, every excuse you ignore, every time you show up when it would have been easier not to. That's a hit landed on the old version of you. That weak version can't survive consistency. He can survive your hype. He can survive your motivation, but he cannot survive your discipline. Discipline is what chips away at him bit by bit, day by day, quietly, ruthlessly. Without emotion, you're not making noise, you're making progress. And every rep, every disciplined decision, every refusal to fold, that's how the strong version of you is being built. Not in a week, not in a month, but in every single moment you choose not to be him anymore. The shadows don't disappear overnight. They fight back. They try to pull you in when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when no one's looking. They whisper the same old lines. Just skip today. You've done enough. No one will know. But now you see it for what it is. It's not rest. It's not recovery. It's weakness disguised as kindness. And you don't buy it anymore. Because with every rep, every early morning, every silent battle, you're getting stronger. And the stronger you get, the weaker those shadows become. They used to own you. Now they fear you. You've taken the power back. Not by yelling, not by showing off, but by staying disciplined when it would have been easier to fold. That's how the shift happens. Not through noise, but through quiet control. You're no longer reacting. You're choosing. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you leave that weaker version of yourself behind. No one sees the real work. They don't see the early mornings when you force yourself out of bed with no energy. They don't see you training when your body aches. They don't see the nights you stay in while everyone else goes out. And that's what makes this so hard. There's no applause, no recognition, no instant reward. It's just you doing the work and wondering if it's enough. But this is where real strength is built. Not in the spotlight, not in the noise, but in the quiet. You don't need approval. You don't need someone to tell you you're doing great. This fight isn't about proving anything to them. It's about proving it to yourself. Can you stay locked in when nobody's watching? Can you keep pushing when the only person who knows is you? If you can do that, you're already ahead. Most people only work when someone's looking, but you're building in the dark. And when the results finally show, they'll call it sudden. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't sudden. It was earned. Pain used to stop you. Now it sharpens you. It doesn't scare you anymore because you felt it. You've lived through failure. You've been ignored. You've been exhausted, frustrated, and pushed to your limit, and you're still here. That's what changed. You stopped avoiding the pain and started using it. Every time it hurt, you didn't back off. You leaned in. You trained through it. You stayed focused through it. You showed up when you didn't feel like it. And that broke something in the weak version of you. The part that used to fold at the first sign of resistance started to fade. Now the pain has a purpose. It's not just suffering, it's transformation. Every hard rep, every lonely hour, every setback you push through, it gave you something no shortcut ever could. Real power. You didn't read about it. You didn't fake it. You built it. Pain built discipline. Pain built clarity. Pain built the version of you that doesn't back down anymore. Your mind used to run you. It pulled you in every direction, scrolling, overthinking, quitting halfway through. It told you when to stop, when to slack, when to settle. And for a long time, you listened, but not anymore. Now you respond on your terms. You don't chase comfort. You don't react to every thought. You don't let your emotions decide how the day goes. You've learned how to sit with the discomfort, hold the line, and keep moving forward, especially when your mind tells you not to. You're no longer controlled by urges, moods, or convenience. You're controlled by standards, and those standards don't shift when it gets hard. That's the difference now. You don't negotiate with weakness. You don't argue with excuses. You execute. This is what real power looks like. Not hype, not intensity, not rage, control. You've trained your mind to follow, not lead. Now you're finally free. You've spent most of your life trying to earn respect from others, trying to impress people, trying to prove something. But none of it lasted, because none of it mattered. What matters now is simple. Can you respect yourself? Not the version you pretend to be. Not the one you post online. The real one. When no one's watching. When no one's clapping. When it's just you in the mirror. You know what you've built. You know what you've endured. You know how many times you wanted to quit and didn't. That's where real pride comes from. Not from status. Not from likes. From consistency. From discipline. From following through. You stop breaking promises to yourself. You stop lowering your standards to stay comfortable. And now, you're someone you trust, someone you believe in, someone you respect. That was never about anyone else. That was always between you and you. You had to walk alone. No one could fight the battles in your head. No one could build the discipline you lacked. No one could save you from yourself. There were moments when it felt like no one cared. Moments when you looked around and realized if you didn't move, no one would move for you. And that realization hit hard. But it also changed everything. Because that's when you stopped waiting. You stopped expecting support. You stopped needing permission. You started building in silence. You started working when no one was watching. You started showing up for yourself, not for attention, not for approval, but because you finally understood what was at stake. Solitude didn't break you. It revealed you. It stripped away the noise, the distractions, the lies. And what was left? Someone dangerous, someone focused, someone real. The world didn't make you strong. Being alone did. You're not who you used to be. You don't flinch the way you did. You don't fold under pressure. You don't run from hard things. That soft version of you, the one who needed comfort, the one who needed approval, is gone. You buried him with every disciplined choice, every early morning, every time you kept going when quitting would have been easier. Now you move with purpose. You train with intensity. You speak less and you execute more. There's a stillness in you now, not weakness. Control. You're no longer reacting to life. You're shaping it. People around you may not notice the difference at first, but they will. They'll feel it when you walk in the room. They'll hear it in your voice. They'll see it in how you carry yourself. You don't need to prove anything anymore. You've already proven it to yourself. The fighter is here, and he's not going back. You used to chase motivation. You waited for the right move, the perfect time, the spark to get moving. Now you move without feeling like it. You show up without needing a reason, because you've built something stronger than emotion. Discipline. Discipline doesn't ask questions. It doesn't care if you're tired. It doesn't care if you're sore, if you're doubting, if you're alone. It just shows up. That's what separates the temporary from the permanent. Anyone can grind for a week. Anyone can lock in when it's convenient. But when life gets loud, when distractions hit, when pressure builds, only the disciplined stay sharp. And now, that's who you are. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need motivation to act. You just do the work because it's who you've become. This isn't a phase. This is the standard now. And nothing breaks that. There's always one last voice, the one that whispers right before you level up. It tells you you're not ready. It reminds you of every time you fail. It begs you to fall back just one more time. That's the final version of the old you, the last defense, the final wall between who you were and who you're becoming. You've heard that voice before, and it used to win, but not this time. Because now you recognize it. You know it's fear dressed as logic, comfort disguised as self-care, lies wrapped in just enough truth to sound convincing, but you're done negotiating. This time, you don't argue, you don't hesitate, you don't retreat. You move, you show up anyway, you do the work anyway, you push through anyway. And right there, in that exact moment, the old version of you dies. Not with noise, not with celebration, just a quiet, final blow. A decision made without fanfare, but with absolute certainty. He's gone, and he's never coming back. Now it's just you again, just the mirror. But this time, something's different. You don't look away. You don't feel shame. You don't see the same person staring back, because this time, you see the one who didn't fold, the one who fought through the silence, the one who showed up when it was hard, when it was lonely, when it wasn't fair, the one who kept swinging when nothing was guaranteed. You built this version. You earned him. Every late night, every sacrifice, it all added up to this moment where you can finally look at yourself and say, I respect who I've become. Not because you're perfect, but because you never quit. The fight was never about anyone else. It was always you versus you, and you won.